Welcome to StarLadder i-Invitational Season 4 already. We are here, we are in Shanghai. We have flown out a lot of teams here. We have 8 teams, 4 days of Dota 2. Hope you're all ready for that. And we have a lot of awesome people also to talk you through all of the action. And here joining me this morning, we got Pyrian Flex on the far end. Pyrian, how are you doing?
Doing great.
It's been way too long.
It has. We were actually just saying before we came on air,
He's going to steal it.
It was Yanis who pointed it out, that the last time we were all on a panel together was Boston Major.
Yes.
Boston Major Grand Finals.
It was
It was good.
actually that. Yeah, welcome back also, Yanis. Of course, a more common face nowadays. I mean, yeah, it has been such a long time. And Ted, this is your first time in Shanghai, first time in China.
This is my first time in China. I'm absolutely loving it. And we went out yesterday.
Yep.
Me and Sheebs and Owen and Gabe came out with us, and newbie
Jofi?
team manager Jofi showed us around, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Shanghai was something else, really special.
Ted just gets back from like the trip. He comes over. He's like, "I got to show you pictures." I'm like, "Ted, I'm not your kids. I appreciate it. I'm not your kids though. I'm not your wife. You know, I love you going through it, but you know, I know you're just going through the motions. You're getting ready to do this for your family." So
Yeah.
Of course.
It's fine.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I've been to China a couple of times, but this is the time where I had the best food so far.
Yeah,
so you're in.
well, because we've had a local to show us around.
Yes.
Like, we would have been lost. But Jofi was like, this is the place. And we had to go through back alleys and up an elevator and then queue for 30 minutes, and then it was the best meal ever. Yeah, it was amazing.
Jofi boss. Jofi
Jofi
boss.
boss,
boss, for
indeed.
real.
And now you get to watch some awesome Dota as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, could this week get any better? No, hardly, for sure. So we have 8 teams here. We've divided them into 2 groups. We're going to have 4 days of Dota 2. So in case you're not familiar with StarLadder, the format is as follows. So same as last time. That means that 2 groups will play out in the coming 3 days. That's right, 3 of the 4 days are groups. This is Group A. We have LGD, compLexity, Team Liquid, and Infamous, and they'll play in a mini double elimination bracket, so it's GSL style, as people would call it. And only 2 teams of this group will be playing on the final day. We're going to have only 4 teams remaining by that time. So what do you think, Fogged?
Poor Infamous is what I think.
Oh.
The LGD Cole series, I think, can go pretty close. LGD hasn't played in like 20 days or so.
Yeah.
compLexity has been playing a good amount recently, so they have a little bit more experience on versus like these big teams because they just came out of Genting. They played a lot of these like top 16 teams that we were talking about there.
Yeah.
So that'll be I think that'll be a pretty even one. I still probably favor LGD 2-1 over Cole. But yeah, Liquid Infamous is probably going to be a complete disaster for Infamous. 2-0, easy for Liquid.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're not sending anybody home yet today, because we will have the winners bracket as a final series of the day. Any expectations for that one, Ted?
Yeah, that's good. Oh, you know, I was wondering, because you were saying like compLexity just came back from Genting, right? Oh, let's talk about these ones first. You've got some other groups.
So this is Group B. We'll start that tomorrow. So today we're going to have the first 2 series of Group A, and then the winners bracket, and tomorrow the same thing for Group B. So we have Kingwin, Mineski, Newbie, and Team Empire. Any instant underdog for you? I mean, you said Infamous for Group A, Fogged. Is there an instant underdog for Group B?
I don't know about instant. I would still probably put Kingwin as the biggest underdogs, even though Empire's here at the stand-in, but we're all hearing rumors that their standing is really good and they've been playing really well with him, so
Yeah.
kind of debatable. Kingwin's kind of been like inconsistent up and down, so I'd probably put them as the underdog still. I mean, Newbie and Mineski are definitely the leaders in this group, but Mineski's also been struggling a bit.
Yeah, they've not been very consistent.
Yeah.
And Newbie obviously just come off a win at Genting, but a lot of exciting teams to watch play. And what were you saying about compLexity?
I was going to say, you know, like, I know we talked about compLexity going away at LANs and stuff like that, and maybe this time, like, what's the time difference Genting to Shanghai? It can't be that great. It must be like an hour or 2.
It's like an
tops,
hour
right?
or so.
Yeah.
So I reckon they've had time to adjust. They're fully bedded in. They haven't just flown out here. Obviously, LGD, you know, they're adjusted to this time. But I think maybe now, compLexity, they're acclimatized. I think they could pull one out. That's what I'm saying. And they look confident, the lads.
They do. But they also, Kyle said that they would like us to always predict that they're going to lose.
Yes.
Because
People support them,
we
they
predict,
lose. You're
yes.
right. So
Especially
I think
me.
They're in big trouble.
If I predict Cole, they're screwed.
All right, so we'll write them
Great
off.
track record.
They're screwed.
Yeah.
And then they'll pull it out of the bag. Right? That's the secret
Yeah.
strat.
I mean, for the second series today, when we are going to see Infamous Team Liquid, I mean, who knows, maybe Infamous can pull something out of the bag. This is our schedule for today, by the way. We are going to start off with LGD versus compLexity, as you might have already seen them setting up on stage behind us. And then Team Liquid versus Infamous. All these series are, of course, best of 3. Actually, every single series is going to be best of 3, apart from the grand finals on the Sunday, which is a best of 5. So winners of these two series will go up against each other at the final series of the day. That means 3 best-of-3 series.
Just seeing the times up there on the board really rubs in
Yeah.
just how tired I am.
I was trying to think. I'm like, wait, 5. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Like, oh wait, yeah,
Yeah.
it actually is 5 a.m.
Yep.
Yeah. Holy cow.
For you, it is.
Yeah, we've been here a few days, but we're still all struggling to adapt to either the
wake up at the
cuisine
right
or
time.
the time zone.
So
I'd say.
Yeah.
for Infamous, they were not the winners. They were not the runners-up, right? They were the 3rd place team.
They were. So every region had their own qualifier as per Valve's rules, of course, and no different for South America. And SG came out on top, and they were like, yeah, let's do this. And then a couple of weeks ago, they're like, wait a second, there's a qualifier at the same time, and this qualifier is not in the Dota 2 Pro circuit, but there is a lot of money at stake, and they prefer to play in that qualifier instead.
That's an understandable decision, I think. I really do. I mean, the teams need money to keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's all very well if you come to StarLadder and you do okay, but I think it makes sense. Financial sense, long term for a team.
Sure.
I understand that.
If they're not expecting
yeah.
to make it through the DPC, if they're
Exactly.
not expecting to, they might as well just go for the money.
Yeah, and I agree. And they are expected to make it through the qualifiers of WESG is what they're going for. And then there was a 2nd place team, and they couldn't come. So 3rd place was Infamous. And they
I mean,
are
there's
the
underdogs,
team
there's comeback
here.
underdog stories, and there's comeback underdog stories sheeps.
I'm going to cut you off because it is time for the introduction of the opening of StarLadder
A
I-League
movie.
Season 4.
Welcome to the
Welcome indeed to StarLadder I-League Invitational. I couldn't translate the rest, but
Go
you
on,
know.
quick, sheeps, you can translate this. He's saying, oh, his name is BBC, from the BBC.
Yes.
这次
Unbelievable.
也非常高兴的邀请到
He's
Are we allowed
gonna
to talk
welcome
over this?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we're talking
He's going to welcome the teams on stage as they are. They're all set up, but you know it has to be official.
You know what? The winter theme they've gone for is accurate. It is freezing as balls.
Yes.
It is
so
It is
damn
very
cold.
cold, yeah.
And outside
chilly.
of Shanghai, it was snowing a lot. Now it was snowing apparently here as well, but obviously
Yesterday
it
there was
doesn't
a teeny
stay.
bit. Yeah,
It doesn't stay in the city, but outside the
Yeah.
city it's like white.
I
They
think
said
the-
last week they said it snowed a bunch.
Yeah.
And then yesterday was some flurries.
And for those watchful people out there, indeed, previous StarLadder I-League Invitational was fall. They had a fall background
was.
then, so I really like that. You know, keeping in the themes.
I always like
know
this.
that?
I love the StarLadder videos always. Like they're actually always so nice. Like it's
Yeah.
nicely presented. You see all the 8 teams buried in the snow, kind of there.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that kind of looked like a graveyard.
A graveyard.
Yeah, and those flags
Like
were like
It kind of was a graveyard.
the,
yeah?
the flags were like all a little bit crooked, so that they were like old gravestones.
Wow.
I can see it.
There's LGD coming
There
out.
LGD
is
coming in.
LGD. They have really cool jackets. Okay, the front, sure, is fine too, but at the back, it's actually a really cool logo. I don't know if you guys are gonna see
Now
it.
I'm so excited for the back part.
There's like a golden circle with a red skull in it.
Oh.
You know what? Teams should have entrance music. Like
do.
their own special signature
Okay,
tune.
I'm gonna tell you this. StarLadder, you know StarLadder, obviously these are the StarLadder I-League Invitationals, and this is the 4th season. But before that, there were loads of StarLadder seasons. They went all the way up to like 10 or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And they were originally all obviously Kiev, and they had the teams choosing. Like if you were in the finals, you could choose
Choose
your
your
own
music.
music.
I
Absolutely.
like that. The music
I'm
you
all
walk
about
out to is
that.
Yeah. And then there was copyright issues.
Ah.
They had to go with the flow.
I thought you were saying puppy issues, because I would assume Puppy would put some weird music
Oh,
on,
but
and
he
they would
did.
not be too happy about
He
it.
did.
Who?
Puppy.
Puppy
Oh,
put
yeah?
some
Puppy's music?
Yes.
What was his music?
Puppy likes his death metal and
Yes,
stuff like
he
that.
does,
He does
yeah.
like that, so. And then we got the cool
Go
boys.
on, the lads.
Look at Kyle with his
Oh,
short sleeves on, everybody else in scarves and jackets.
And the scarves that you see are courtesy of StarLadder scarves, but they have the team logos printed on them. That's
Oh,
a gift
yeah.
from StarLadder. So every team.
Yeah, I'm
right.
going to try and steal one of those scarves.
Yes.
100%.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to.
I don't know how you can have short sleeves, but I'm sure he's all pumped up. He's got that adrenaline going.
It's Kyle.
Yeah,
It's Kyle.
He doesn't need anything else.
Maybe he's just running a terrible fever, and he's just boiling hot.
I hope not for him. His team's gonna need him.
Yeah. This
Because,
should be pretty cool. This should be pretty fun team fighting games.
It
I
really
love
should.
those.
Yeah, it's just because, like, you know, we always talk about, like, these Chinese teams that are a little bit more, like, team fight aspect, a little bit more, like, cool and collected. They don't really like making those big mistakes. Complexity, they group up. It hits 5 minutes, 6 minutes in, they're 5 heroes pushing towers the whole game.
But we saw in Genting the meta shifted a bit, and we have a lot of emphasis on the supports.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like, and when I say supports, I mean the 4 actually. The 5 is still like the sacrificial lamb. So Kyle is, you know, we don't care about Kyle. We care about Z-Freak though.
Yes. I think it's been kind of, for me, a little bit changing, just because of how incredible Faith played at Genting. Faith was like an absolute beast on Disruptor every single game, so that was a little bit different for their team aspect, but yeah, I agree. This one I think is more going to be about Moo and about Z-Freak, as we've been talking about, that 4 role, that 3 role as well, just making all the plays.
All right, so let's go over LGD.
Yes.
They are ready to play. They have been doing okay in the Chinese region. It's a very tough region to be at. It's very competitive. They've been able to go to 5 Dota Pro circuit tournaments so far, and they've become second at the Open Bucharest, and that was, they got 67.5 points.
And that was with FY as off lane, and that was with QQQ.
Yes. Only this, like, start of this January, he went back to being a support because Ame came back in, and Yao went out, and Simov, I hope I pronounced that properly, left to go back to CDEC again. So FY is back on that 4 support role, Ame is back on that carry role, X-Nova came in. As this is actually the first LAN that X-Nova has, the first international LAN with this squad.
Yep.
So that's very exciting to see as well. So this is kind of like their testing ground.
I'm really hyped to see Chalice, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of hype around this guy from a lot of the Chinese players. They've been talking about him. So I'm really excited to see him because I really don't know too much about him. The rest of the guys we've seen a lot. Ame, maybe, FY. The bigger ones, X-Nova was from WG Unity. We saw him a bunch in the past too.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm really looking forward to see what Chalice can bring to the table.
X-Nova hyphen. Don't forget the hyphen. X-Nova hyphen.
Sorry.
bad.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't write that down on my notes.
You put a hyphen? There you go.
Yeah.
She added a hyphen for you.
Good,
Got him.
thank you. I mean, he put it there. It's obviously important to the guy. That's all I'm saying. Let's respect his hyphen, please.
Fair. So when
Yeah.
you have to say other people's names when they capitalize and uncapitalize, you have to read it like that?
Yeah.
So capital U, lowercase n, capital
Or
I,
you can just shout
lowercase
the
v.
letter. Just raise your voice up and down like it's like reading music, you know?
I guess that works in a way, sure. But LGD, this is their home turf. I think they should be doing well this tournament. This is like their runway up to the major because both LGD and compLexity qualified for Katowice major.
Oh,
so this is like their training ground, their run up. They gotta hit the ground running. They gotta do well.
Or you can try some stuff out. I
Yeah.
guess is another thing you can do.
Well, they are on, I think they're on a 7 series win streak, what I was looking at.
Pretty
They've
good.
won like 2-0, 2-1s over some big names, over LFY, and probably the bigger name is Vici. LFY has been pretty shaky recently, but that's pretty impressive, and I'm just a big fan of FY on support again. I mean, we're going to probably be seeing Rubik's, I hope. Lots of Rubik, let's go.
Yeah, back on the 4 position. So they're going up against compLexity, already mentioned, of course, a bit. They just came off ESO Genting. Didn't do too hot over there, unfortunately for them. But they have been doing okay throughout the season. They've got a couple of points here and there. Again, they come from a region where it's so difficult to qualify because there's so many teams that are at the top. There's like a top 4, basically. But they made it to 6 Dota Pro circuit events. Not bad. Got 45 points. Want to have some more, though. Want to have some more.
They just got to show up at LANs. That's my big thing. Because when they're playing
This
on
is a LAN.
Yeah, when they're playing on these online qualifiers, they're playing actually so much better. Whenever they get to these LANs, I feel like they just slump and they make more mistakes. So, Kyle, get it together, man.
What do you think, Ted, for compLexity?
I thought we weren't going to tell them that they could do it because that was what I mean. I
just
don't
said
know.
get it
I don't know if
together.
it's a confidence thing, genuinely, or if it's just like a superstition thing or whatever. But who knows? I think they just need to relax and play. Like Giannis is saying, when they play better offline, they come to LAN. Maybe it can't still be nerves. They've played big enough stages, but
then
it does
what
still
is
make
it?
a difference. Maybe in the back of your mind, you're like, oh man, we always suck at LAN and stuff. You need to get past that. I think it's true in any sport. Like you just can't get worried about jinxes and we always do this.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I hear more fancy music.
No, that's not.
No, that's not us. That's them.
Oh.
That's them.
They're introducing LGD on the other side over there. Don't
I
worry,
wanted to see the little movie of the guys holding up the Chinese New Year posters that we saw earlier. It's sick.
I like how we have the American flag like right behind me.
Yeah, where is
This
that?
is pretty good.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's pretty good.
Can we get the British flag over the other side, please?
So they have to make it to a LAN first. So
Yeah,
oh man.
So never.
That's not going to
Dude.
happen.
Hey, you wait till the casting of the next game. That's UK Dota's representation right there.
I
Me
think
and OD.
everybody should be very worried for that one.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like my 40 minutes for the year. That's it. Two games, 20 minutes apiece.
That should be fun.
That should be fun indeed.
Somnus M.
Somnus,
Yep,
maybe.
that's maybe boss.
Yeah. He is. He came onto the scene to be. You know, he came out very flashy, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest mid player to have ever lived." And he's still really good, but he seemed to. Does he still have that edge? Fung?
I think it's taken a bit of a step back. I still think he's a really dominant mid player, but what's happened now is they've distributed the resources more. Because like when FI was playing off lane, he was taking a lot more. So they wouldn't like play this 4 protect maybe, where it was in the past. When we saw them at like Manila Major, where maybe was popping off every game, like 27 kills, 24 kills, something like that. It was all about him. Now they've got Ame right here. Now and they've got their offlaner. They've got much different people who take
What do you want to call him?
A
quote.
and
A
those are
quote,
like
quote.
yeah, I guess.
A
We'll call
apostrophe,
them.
apostrophe.
Apostrophe. That's what I was thinking. Okay, we're not gonna say Ame.
Yeah. He's wearing a very cuddly sweater.
All right, so here's a question for you, Giannis.
Yeah.
Given the way that mid has changed so much that now it's like, it's not 1v1.
No.
It's like 2v2 or
3v3.
3v3.
Yeah.
So how has that changed? Like, the guy that can play mid doesn't need to be, maybe doesn't need to be quite as good because he's going to have all that help, or is it even harder than it was?
I think what at least for me, what I look at is I look at these 3 core roles, and I'm like, you need to have very strong 1v1ers in all 3 roles. Even if they're not playing the 1v1s, it's just about, okay, we start 3v3, but then we're going to move, and now he's going to have to be able to deal with that 1v1.
We're leaving you because we got to go help
we
this
gotta go
guy.
help this other guy.
Manage. Yeah.
I think having like those 3 star-studded 1v1 players is really key to right now with Dota is.
Yeah. So compLexity. We got to talk about them a little bit more as well. We already mentioned Z-Freak as like the player. I feel like he's the player to watch this tournament.
This is so good.
Oh, this is great. They were having a blast with this. When I was talking to them yesterday, they were just like, "We got media day," and then they came back and they're like, "We had media day and it was something."
I want that lobster hat. I must have that lobster hat.
You got a couple of those things when we went shopping yesterday. You
I
got
got some
nice,
cool stuff, but I
nice
didn't
stuff.
get a lobster hat, that's for sure. So here's the thing, right? Maybe, because offlane's always been tough.
Yeah.
You're on your own, you're possibly up against 3 people, right? So I think just get a team full of 5 offlaners. Boom. They're all independent. They can all manage by themselves.
Or 5 mids.
Oh God.
All solo players.
All right, support's way too important. Please no.
yeah.
I love this squad. I just love the 2 brothers aspect of this team always.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
And
Kyle
Moo.
Z-Freak, Limp Chessie, and then we just got Moo. Moo's just chilling.
It's like so easy to miss out on as well, but if you read the names, it's like, wow, this is a coincidence that
Yeah.
2 of them have the same last name as someone else. Yeah. No, but compLexity Z-Freak is going to be a stand-up player. Which other player you feel like?
My man Moo, love him.
It's gotta
Lovely
be
guy. And I mean, you still think back to, you know, the reception he got at Key Arena, TI with DC's amazing run. It's like, it's hard to forget that. Obviously, times have changed.
Yeah.
But he is still a fan favorite. He's definitely a favorite of mine.
For me, of course, Z-Freak needs to play really well in these games just to have that. I think that's so important for every team having their 4, but it's actually, for me, it's Chessie playing more Chessie heroes. I don't want to see him playing like Sven's and stuff. They do pick it for him sometimes, but when he plays these more unorthodox safe laners, I actually feel like they do their best.
So what is a Chessie hero?
Yeah,
well,
give us a top 3.
He was playing some of like, this goes back a little bit, but he was playing like these Bruce safe lanes, these like Visages and stuff. I want to see him just playing like more carry heroes though, but not Sven. I don't really like his Sven, personally.
Okay.
They do pick it for him a bunch, but I'm not a big fan of his.
Gyrocopter.
Gyro's good.
Okay.
Gyro, because they also can run it in multiple lanes. Both Chessie and Limp can play it.
But
more consistent carries. If they can get Tiny, of course, for Limp, that's probably the biggest one.
But if
that
you're
also is
saying that
versatile.
you want Chessie to play more normal cores, and you're also saying that you want him to play heroes that can be left alone, surely that kind of counters each other.
Well, get the good 1v1 matchups. I think that's the most important thing. Save Chessie and Limp slat heroes for the last two. Pick Moo, Z-Freak, and Kyle first three. Get the other two the big core matchups in the 1v1s. So if they see like a Bat Rider, they can pick Chessie a PL or something along those lines.
Is there anything you think that both teams will really like in terms of heroes?
The popular ones. I think Tiny, Bane, Razor are my top three for these two teams. Other one is probably...
Are either of these teams Lycan spammers? Because
I think everyone's become that. Chessie plays that a lot.
It's disgusting.
I think that's a good one. That's actually... Oh, that's one that slipped my mind. That's one of the Chessie heroes that he's been
like if you can get that hero, I think it's just... At the moment, he seems to be that guy you're like, oh, okay, so they probably won then. Like, this is just the way it goes.
Maybe we'll see some adjustments be made. Like we saw Newbie picking that Naga Siren, and that's like... Very, very tough to play Lycan versus Naga, actually. If you just get netted, there's two different ways to stop your shapeshift.
But that's why if you see the early Naga pick, I'm always thinking it's going to be like Lycan or some shit. Because that always seems to be the combo that they had is he goes up and pushes Naga's like the safety net, no pun intended.
Haha.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So they're going to draft in a second, right?
Yeah, they're going to start very soon.
This is actually my favorite part. I'm not even kidding. I love the draft. Because at that point, it's still, anything is possible.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's very strategic.
Yeah.
It is.
That's where we start seeing the different priorities in heroes. And
A'', and Chessie. There's the matchup.
Look at that GPM advantage and kill advantage for Ame, though.
What do you think the bottom is?
Damn.
I'm not too sure, actually, what the bottom
One's
is.
1866, another 1983 or something?
What?
I'm trying to think what that could be.
I don't know. What could that be? What could those numbers represent?
1886?
Yeah,
something 1800 something and something 1900
not 1886.
Okay.
Because we know what that one is.
It's not birth
It's
years.
not birth date, you sure? He looks, he's a pretty experienced guy.
Oh, what could it actually be? Like gold lost or something? Like gold lost when dead or something? I don't know what it could be, actually.
It's an
What, highest death bounty?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea what the last one was. That's cool, though.
From compLexity side, we are expecting heavy team fight. That's the type of team they are.
Yep. Some objective, like at least one or two objective takers so they can group up and push.
Yeah.
Just Cole style. I think they really like playing around that 5-minute first catapult wave.
Okay.
We tend to see them rotate a lot around it. They always want to take that mid tower. I think we harped on that a lot in Genting, where it's like the team that took the mid tower first actually won like all the games.
Really?
Something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
And what for LGD? Are they also a team fighty team? Like what type of team or what type of play are we going to see from them?
Yeah, they're a bit more team fighty. It's a lot like most of the Chinese teams. They pick a good amount of team fight. They like picking like these one-on-one matchups as well, and then they can transition into big team fight.
All right, well, we're in the draft. LGD on the Radiant side, compLexity on the Dire side for game 1. And we already have some bans. LGD winning out Enchantress and Night Stalker. Both of those heroes are really nice for that early fighting potential.
Yeah. Punish the lanes really heavily.
She is
so they're
strong
banning Witch Doctor.
Enchantress.
I think Cole's looking for Tiny first pick here. Because this is very targeted at what LGD's been playing recently. They pick PL and Witch Doctor in a very consistent amount of their games. They like pairing up Witch Doctor actually with either Tiny or Phantom Lancer in the opener majority of their games. Just because you can kind of leave them alone. They're very elusive. We've been seeing a lot more illusion carries as well too. Terrorblade, PL.
LGD has played a lot of Tiny as well, though.
Yeah,
you don't think
but
they will go for
Cole's
that?
first pick. That's why I think either LGD bans it or Cole first picks it right here.
Okay. Let's see which one of the two is going to be.
I think that's what they're thinking about right here too. And then there's going to be big other heroes left in the pool though, because now Bane and Razor are left, and Razor is one of the better heroes versus Tiny. So maybe Cole can even open up with Razor, just so they don't get punished. As Tiny being that like 0 armor hero, your melee range, Razor can really punish you, and Razor's just like the top picked hero.
It is.
You gotta ban Lycan. You gotta ban Lycan.
And yeah, Cole takes this. So they're probably gonna respond with, I think Razor Bane could be one of the options, or just Razor +1 support. Maybe Razor Rubik. So it is the Bane, and it will be Shadow Fiend.
Wow.
It's one of their most played heroes.
That is true.
Also,
It
he's just
is
so
maybe.
flippin' strong. Like, you just get him. Just get him and we'll figure out the rest later.
I'm pretty surprised that they didn't take the Razor, though. That was literally first pick, first ban at Genting the majority of the time.
Did it win?
Yeah.
Really?
It was winning most of the games.
But none of their heroes actually, sorry, none of their players actually play Razor.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And maybe like Shadow Fiend is maybe his most played hero for the last 3 months.
Oh, wowzers.
Chen coming out, that's a Z-Freak special
That's
right there.
a Z-Freak special. That's now, the nice thing that this Chen gives now is we have no idea where this Tiny is. This could be off-lane Tiny, this could be mid-Tiny, this could be safe lane because they play it in all the different roles. Moo's played it. It's usually on Limp, but yeah, we've seen what the Chen can do is you go to the
off-lane
off-lane.
Tiny, really?
Because what Chen does is,
Oh,
if
he
you
just
haven't
sends in the
home,
lads.
he
Yeah,
sends
yeah.
home 3 creeps. So now your lane is like in such a great spot that you have nothing to worry about.
Oh, that's nuts.
So Bane Shadow Fiend, this is telltale to me that they're trying to give maybe an excellent game, sit on mid lane, enfeeble spam
Ugh.
with a Shadow Fiend. Yeah. So LGD takes out the Brew.
I wonder if
one
they'll
of
take,
Cole's
you
team
know, the
fighters.
thing that everybody's doing now is they pick Clockwork SF and feed on the cogs at level 1, right? That's all you do. So
It was happening a lot, yeah. People kind of started to fall out of favor of picking Clockwork at Genting because if you pick Clock in the first 2, SF got banned instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this could force Cole to ban the Clock, or maybe they just don't care. Maybe they'll just go for some type of push lineup with this Chen.
It is very strong.
Yeah.
It will basically make sure that Limp is not going to have a fun lane mid. He's already going to have a tough time with the Bane hanging around, sure.
Yeah.
But if you also give that Shadow Fiend some of the cogs,
What they need to do is get some Doom up in here, and he just eats Chen's creeps. That's my favorite thing. Because that's why they devour on Doom. You can just eat Chen's creeps.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody gets a Midas. Chen's out of the game.
I like that mini-map. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, that's neat.
That is
Well,
cool.
they have to try to get the lanes right, too.
Those are the suggested lanes.
Well, let's see if they're right. I mean, they might know more than we do.
Oh, they're putting Bane safe lane.
Oh, this is good. I like this. So the Razor gets banned, and they take out the Omni Knight right away, of course, on Cole, so they don't deal with that. And we're actually going to get an FY Bounty Hunter. Going to try to follow that Chen around a bit. But Chen is played a bit different now.
Yeah, he's
because
not
of those
that
send
jungle
homes at
heavy.
the start. You don't jungle so much at the start.
Right.
But now, I mean, look at this.
But what,
This
so he
is-
doesn't grab creeps and go and crush you in lane with them
Well,
as
because
much?
creeps don't start till 1 minute now.
Right.
So he starts.
But he does it
send him
eventually,
up.
right?
Yeah.
He's still basically Chen bullshit
Yep.
as soon as he can.
You're more of a ganker now, though,
Right.
because farming jungle sucks. So
Yeah,
Bounty
yeah.
can't punish it as much. So now Bounty, Bane, Shadow Fiend, again, they're like, okay, maybe we're going to give you the dream game. We're going to have a
Yeah,
Bane and a
yeah.
Bounty Hunter sitting on the mid lane, ruining complexity's life.
So what do Cole pick mid here? Something that can... I mean, in a way, you kind of want something that doesn't really want to try and challenge too much early on, because he can't.
Something that can like spam and still farm. I was thinking something like Death Prophet. You still can get, you're still susceptible to burst, though.
Yeah.
You want to have something that gets last hits with spells so you don't...
Yeah. Just so you can freely last hit without having to walk up and get slapped and raised or something along those
But
lines.
now that Bounty Hunter is picked up, I mean, we already see the Bane that's been put on bottom lane on the mini-map here.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the mid lane is freed up a bit more in terms of Bane roaming around there? Because otherwise your core is going to be completely left by himself.
But that's like the adjustment people are doing.
Okay.
It's just, if anything, maybe they'll just send their like Ame to the off lane and they'll put their off laner in the safe lane.
Okay.
It's been a weird game of adjustments lately in Dota.
And it's
And
Disruptor.
So they too take, okay.
Team fighty hero.
Some great catch. There's a hero
He's
that-
amazing. When you're ahead, I think he's amazing.
Yeah, when you're behind it, it's much harder to play. But now they can force objectives, and if LGD does make mistakes, this is where Disruptor
Really
thrives.
good.
He punishes super heavily. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not too surprised, but like the Terrablade's been not looked at for either squad
Ignored,
just
yeah.
yet. And Terrorblade is one of Ame's most played, and Terrorblade was looking to be a terrifying hero after Genting as well.
He is a little greedy though, isn't he? Like you have to play around meta, and he does need farm. So maybe they're thinking, if Cole are going to run at us early on, do we want a Terrorblade? Like, what if you tease out the meta? That's down. He's under farm. Now what? You know, can they stand and fight? That's the problem. Underlord. Holy macaroni. A big lad.
Yeah. I'm starting to get a bit worried for complexity here because their burst doesn't take out an Underlord.
No,
If
it
that
does not.
Chen has got, like, if that Chen has a couple of rotations that are not fruitful, that means that I kind of feel like they're gonna fall behind very fast. And then, as we already mentioned, Disruptor's not great from behind, and their chances of catching up are
I think that the
low.
problem is, like, if LGD are going all in on winning this mid with the SF, that's literally what they're saying with this draft. Is they're saying we are going to win mid. The off lane is just going to be Underlord. He'll be fine. We're not going to rotate to him at all. We're just going to leave him to it, and then we're going to crush this mid. Then what you've got to do is either try and contest that, or just say, well, then we're going to crush the other two lanes. Like, that's pretty much all you can do.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to fall into their trap with the Bane Bounty SF. You don't want to have to challenge that, do you? That's
So,
gonna be
so
a
you're
nightmare.
going, you would want to go all in on the on bottom lane.
Yeah, I think
That's
you go
fine.
and crush the other lanes. Take towers early. And
That's
oh, wow.
that's the hero that people were picking to deal with Shadow Fiend.
The
You put
Viper?
him mid and you actually just do just fine. Because Chen can bring creeps, and none of these heroes can deal with creeps. Bane and Bounty, sure, Bane can sleep them, but you can't kill these creeps. They're actually just way too strong with a Viper rotating. And then Disruptor can get the catch. Going back to the Underlord, this pick, I think they wanted to have some deep push on the side of LGD, to just in case Cole does do that
Right,
5
right.
lane, which they're so known to doing. And the Atrophy Aura versus Tiny.
Yeah.
Since Tiny's full base damage, Atrophy applies very heavily versus that.
For reals.
So a lot of damage reduction coming up from LGD with the Enfeeble and with the Underlord. That could be kind of neat. But Cole, they're looking like they're getting their heavy 5-man kind of lineup coming out here with this Viper pickup.
Viper solves a
Do you
lot
think
of
they
their
could have picked
problems.
something like DK as well, or is that no good here? I'm just thinking of a guy who's just hard to kill, can spam the waves with the Flame Breath, and will eventually just become like your upfront building hitter guy.
He's the one problem with DK is that in the laning phase, we've seen him. He can do okay in like those 1v1 matchups like all the time versus like any hero.
Yeah, yeah.
But versus
Against
SF,
three,
you get triple raised.
crushed.
You can actually just get killed.
Yeah,
Viper, you can almost never get triple raised like
I
that.
just thought because the damage reduction from the Flame Breath might actually help counteract SF a little bit, but
True. So they are thinking it's Chessie, safe lane Tiny, because
Yeah.
they're banning out Moose, Sanking. So they're thinking that complexity needs more team fight.
But Live Tiny is so good.
I know.
it's pronounced compLexity.
This could be like they could completely change all this around.
Yeah, they really could. They could put Viper safe lane and just leave him alone.
I'd prefer the Viper versus the SF, but yeah, they like
Sure,
we
but
said,
in theory.
In theory, definitely. We need a Moo hero.
Could they run an aggressive tri-lane with the Tiny? Or are
It's
you
a
thinking they're
gamble.
going to just put Moo somewhere on the off lane by himself on the hero that they're still to pick?
They could still do like that dual lane we were talking about with the Tiny, and then they get a very good 1v1 matchup versus the Underlord, picking something like the Ursa or the Monkey King just to dominate the lane.
It's going to be
Or
a
the
Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Very
So-
what the
special.
hell?
We could see that. So what I think they're looking at is that they can actually just group up and take towers. They get the Dominator on Viper, Chen with his heal, Abaddon with the heals as well on top. LG doesn't really have, LGD has SF for burst if he gets online. But if he falls behind, he can get run over by this
He's
Cole
not
lineup.
going to fall behind.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, yeah, with what they're displaying. Huh.
This is such an unusual draft to me.
Abaddon. They've got shield to remove track, and grouping up with Viper could
Shield
be
to
really
remove
strong.
nightmares.
Yeah, shield to remove all of the Bane spells even,
Yeah.
except well not Enfeeble, but the two big ones.
You know what? You know what's good is if they try to Underlord out, if you get the glimpse timing just right, you
Yeah.
could suck one back. That would be funny.
I'm kind of liking what Cole did versus they say the Bounty Hunter third pick, right? And then they pick Viper and Abaddon. Just be like, all right, you pick Bounty to win lanes. We don't care. We're just
Yeah.
gonna group up at one point, and this Bounty's gonna become useless if he doesn't snowball in the lane
Yeah,
phase.
yeah.
Well, let's see who their safe laner is going to be. They are running out of time. It is the Gyrocopter.
Gyrocopter.
So that early team fighter.
Yeah. And a hero that can be kind of left alone.
He's fast,
He's
and
fast,
he can
he's
call
okay.
down and just run away, I guess. But
Yeah.
They're pretty squishy though.
He is
Gyro,
squishy.
Gyro SF, Bounty Bane. I think this Tiny can actually pretty much
yeah, there's
burst
some
all of
heroes
them.
to be blown up here for sure.
Yeah.
So Ted, if you're looking at complexity, what do you feel like they need to do for this game to be successful for them?
Not lose mid super hard.
All right.
I mean, they're probably going to lose it, but don't lose it super hard. And get buildings nice and early and apply pressure, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
For LGD, Funk?
I think LGD just needs to not lose to this 5-man game. I think if they can stall the game out, they'll be really good for the track kills and everything once this Gyro and SF get online. But if they just get ran at, they lose buildings, I think Cole has a really good shot.
All right, well, let's find out what's going to happen in game 1 of this first best of 3 of the day. It is over to Capitalist and Blitz.
That's right, the opening match here at StarLadder, compLexity versus LGD. I think a lot of the storyline for this tournament is going to be the obvious standouts, right? Newbie and Liquid. Very likely to meet in the finals, very likely to make it to the playoffs and everything else. But I think everybody else here is kind of a definitive tier 2, and it's just a question of who's going to be climbing to that second part of the playoffs. And compLexity and LGD, I think, are two of the tougher teams when you compare to the rest of the field outside of, again, Liquid and Newbie.
Yeah, I think that these are the two teams that could potentially create some waves. I think this is a very difficult group. By the way, very good to be back.
Back? Where were you? Where were you?
I was gone for a week, and now I'm. Oh, that top right logo never looked so sweet. But I think that compLexity. I think compLexity especially, like, they are such a weird team for me because it always feels like they take a game off of good teams, and then they lose. It just feels like they shoot themselves in the foot, or maybe they're just.
Or I was thinking the other way around, whereas teams are like, "Oh, that's right, we're facing compLexity. They're gonna 5-man into our base."
They're gonna 5-man us.
Ah, right. I forgot about that.
That is the one downside of compLexity is that they're very, very predictable.
Yes.
You know that they are gonna try to hit towers. But the good thing about them playing against Chinese teams is Chinese teams will oblige and they will fight you at every opportunity. They are down to fight.
We obviously play a lot of pubs, and we've talked quite a bit about how our China pubs are distinctly different. In fact, polar opposites to our North American pubs that we're used to.
Yeah. The biggest difference, of course, being that in China, no matter what, and this is at every level, Matama Man was telling us this yesterday too, at every level, they will 5-man, they will hit their heads against this wall until they win or lose by 5-man, which I prefer, of course.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like, come on, guys. Like,
it's this weird compulsion where they can't help themselves but run as 5 heroes at anybody that shows up on the map.
And mid lane, the tri-lane begins.
A 3v2, but it is going to be a Viper and Disruptor. Both those heroes are pretty good at the harassment game, so I'm not so sure that LG is going to win this out in the long run, but it is going to be at least enough to secure maybe some early CS and get those souls going.
Yeah, maybe can't really help out in the beginning. And they're just really taking XP from SF. I don't know if you bring 3 heroes there.
Yeah.
The idea, of course, being that Viper is very good against the SF. It's probably one of the most value picks that you can get. There is a downside, though, if you don't have a good laning phase as Viper. Coming back into the game is a lot more difficult.
You're right. Viper is definitely not going to be that SF who could just go off in the jungle and farm a bunch of neutrals. compLexity are actually going to be leaving Abaddon solo here in the top lane up against the Gyrocopter, and now FY's Bounty Hunter is going to introduce himself to the equation.
And they're giving him the safe lane, which I think is the right idea. This is something that we see the North American scene do a lot. When it comes to the Chinese scene, it seems like they've adapted as well. Everybody watched the recent tournaments.
Yep.
So far, so good.
And do you think, is this a matchup that compLexity wants? They want the Tiny versus the Abaddon, right? And not Abaddon versus Underlord?
They probably want the Abaddon versus the dual lane and the Tiny down here.
Yeah.
Because he cleaves anyways, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
High amount of base damage.
High enough base damage with the tree that he could still get CS. And Tiny would be very threatened by a Gyrocopter lane, that's for sure.
For me, a large portion of this game is going to come down to how they decide to move the Chen around.
Okay.
Like, how do you enable Z-Freak's game? Because he's still only level 1. He doesn't really have anywhere to gank right now. It's kind of the problem for me.
But that's okay. I mean, compared to a Bounty Hunter, surely as a Chen, you could just kind of like go jungle for yourself. A Bounty Hunter doesn't have another option. A lot of damage here on the Gyrocopter. Should be okay, though.
Yeah, and Kyle has a haste rune. Just going to pop up to top. Not a high level of investment. I think he was told probably, like, we're not really doing anything mid.
Yeah.
You're just soaking my XP. If they dual lane me, that's life. Because you can't see, that's the thing about dual lane Banes, is you're not going to see us anyways.
Right. So you can't dual lane with him, so he's going to miss CS, and he's going to be getting half experience, and then your game's totally shot. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. You're not getting last hits. You're not getting XP.
Good attempt there with the Tornado, but X-Nova picks up level 2 Nightmare to stop the Wildkin dancing around.
I mean, that's some hate right now, but Z-Freak's going to get a lot of gold right now. He's using the other one to clear this wave up. Very popular trick, as it does not trigger aggro.
I guess this is why I like Chen so much right now, because it feels like a bounty hunter that has a plan B, you know? In this game, I'm not sure the bounty hunter can really do anything else besides just sit on this Abaddon at top lane.
Yeah. When you have heroes like Bounty, it's annoying when you don't have kill lanes.
Yeah.
Because killing an Abaddon does not feel good.
No.
He comes back to lane with full, he just keeps shielding you. It doesn't feel like he really cares that much, and then when he gets level 6, killing him is like absolutely miserable. Like there are certain heroes in Dota, when they hit level 6, you feel really bad about ganking.
Yeah.
Such as Wraith King, Abaddon.
Nice pull there from Mu, getting the range creep off the melee and getting himself a CS in a difficult situation right now. He needs that CS badly too, because he's trying to pick up a bottle. That way he could just have the sustain off the bounty rune.
I think they should go gank mid. compLexity. If they have a smoke, I think I would just go mid.
Okay, well that's exactly what they're going to go for here. The Disruptor and the Chen, and they've got double golems too. So 2 different range stuns, and the potential, if they tank it up with on the tower, they might be able to break one of the golems apart for even more stuns. Here comes the gank. Kyle is going to get close enough for the kinetic field to get the double stun, but he's too far back for them to try and go for that. We know that there was actually no support behind him, but compLexity probably not feeling too comfortable with the bounty hunter off map. Reality, FY is trying to go for the courier, but is only level 2. Need level 3 with the extra level and Shadow Walk to get that kill. And Chessie actually kills Underlord, and he's at full HP and still has some mana to boot.
Yeah, 500 gold for that one. Very nicely. Got the solo kill too.
500 gold?
Yeah, and in mid lane,
Jeez.
they're doing the wraparound again. FY making maybe feel a little bit safer, but they get the stun.
Bounty Hunter is going to be able to do about this one is maybe he's going to be chased down underneath the kinetic field. Good use of the golems there, breaking them apart and getting the extra stuns.
There's one guy clapping in the crowd, and I turned around to see who it was, and it was Josh.
Yep, it is a 0-2 score right now, so the crowd is being rather quiet.
That's okay. I like home field advantages.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of C events. They go crazy.
Yeah, because you would never see like Warriors Gaming get that kind of that kind of applause in any other event. Ame does manage to kill Mu, looks like, before they pick up level 6. Meanwhile, FY is trailing Z-Freak here.
Yeah, very nice comeback kill as
they're actually going to try and kill Z-Freak here. Good body blocking from FY, but good control from Z-Freak as well. Throws one of the Golem stuns onto the Bounty Hunter so he can flip around him. And as a result, the gank has failed, and Chalice will be able to pick up a couple CS.
Yeah. Agree with their assessment, though, of Bounty Hunter, because I feel like Bounty Hunter in this game is going to be so important. When you don't have that much catch on the side of compLexity, it's very useful.
Z-Freak quite low here, and they do have the level 3 on FY. Here comes Chessie as well. He can just easily get a toss. Actually goes for the Avalanche, trying to get it on FY. Actually gets that kill. Chen manages to stay alive. FY, now Kyle. Trying to go for Chalice, but there's no way they'd catch him.
Yeah, nice turnaround kill, but it is only the Bounty Hunter, so things are somewhat okay. They might go for like the sleep triple raise.
Oh yeah, let's see what they could do here. Bounty Hunter's here as well. 1-2 raise, and a third one to finish Limp off. Well played. Or maybe a top lane. Mu actually still ends up going down. Abaddon looks like he tried to get a deny off the Mistcoil. Wonder what his skill set is. Oh yeah, went for the 1-3-1. Wonder if he's going to max out Mistcoil after that.
This is very nice, though, by LGD to come back into this game. Obviously, the first blood and the subsequent 2 kills, very nice for compLexity, but when it comes to CS, LGD doing a very good job of that. And FY feels like he's everywhere right now. Although the last time he was bottom, he just straight up died.
Yeah.
But it's only a level 3 Bounty Hunter.
And he hasn't gotten a courier kill yet either, which is normally what you want to see out of your bounty hunters.
Yeah.
48 and 14 top CS by a large margin right now for our Tiny. Kyle getting spotted out. His ward gets spotted as well. Now, Kyle could actually be in trouble if he doesn't run to some sort of safety. Actually, gank in mid lane. They're going to go for Limp here. What a rotation from Ame. Did not expect that one, and surely Limp didn't expect it either. What a great kill.
Very well done. I like that. It feels like all these cores nowadays are so willing to move around the map to help out the other lanes. Kind of like the advent of how Liquid plays it.
Nice catch there from Kyle, waiting the last second there to be able to get the glimpse down. Does have the vision, but X-Nova's here, and now Kyle could be in some big-time trouble. Moo's going to be taking most of the damage from the rocket barrage. Oh, what? I did not think that was going to be enough damage.
Yeah. He's got Phase Aquila launch.
Yeah.
He does 100 to hit. Whew. No way the Disruptor survives there. Ame's being a beast right now. He's just running around the map, getting kills, being very active right now, giving his team that net worth lead. Trying to anyways, as they're still slightly behind, mainly because of how well Chessie's done in this game, but the next three, the runner-ups, are all LGD members.
I was talking to you about this earlier before the game, how Chalice, his hero pool prior to this team was actually very aggressive, but since he joined LGD, it's been these very passive, very greedy offlaners, which obviously means somebody's got to step up, and you know it's not going to be Maybe. Maybe's going to keep playing those kind of carry-style mids, so Ame is apparently taking it on himself.
Chalice.
What a good juke from Chalice. That was beautiful.
Very well done.
It is going to be a push onto the tower, though.
Yeah. I think if I'm LGD, I try not to defend this, and I just go mid.
Yeah, that's currently what Maybe's doing. He's used all his mana to be able to burst down the creep wave, and is trying to bang on that tower while X-Nova gets some nice aggressive wards down.
And if you're a support player, this is how when you want to place wards, because you understand like at least 3 to 4 heroes are down there.
Yeah.
So you'll have some free time. Like oftentimes I see support players try to place wards in like such random dangerous situations. Like you know where everybody roughly is. All 5 heroes have shown themselves at some point. You can be a little bit greedier.
Drums almost finished for Ame.
Yeah.
Put a good amount of pressure on the tower as well, so both mid and top lane towers could die from any LGD rotation here.
I was trying to leave the rune for Chessie, because I think they want to invade the jungle and kill the SF. Like, complexity's next target is this mid tower. If you take this mid tower, you really hem in the line for LGD, and it makes it hard for them to support their 2 cores.
Right.
Because they've got pretty greedy heroes, and they don't have a lot of catch. Like, they've got vision, but they don't have a lot of catch. So what LGD need to do is defend their towers with this payload. He's going to have to be kind of like Keeper of the Light, where you preempt all these pushes. Because you know Complexity's play is they're going to take that bottom tower, then they want to take the mid, they want to squish you in, then you only have that one, you know, the Radiant Triangle, which is very inefficient to farm. And then you can just send 1 or 2 wards up there and keep track of LGD at all times.
Oh, the courier, but he doesn't have that level 2 in the Shadow Walk, so FY doesn't even go for it. I think you need level 5 with only level 1 invis to be able to kill a courier, or you need level 2 of the invis.
Oh, they spot FY.
Got him with the sentry. Good placement from Kyle.
Chessie's got a fast blink.
That is going to play havoc for this team. LGD have such squishy cores outside of the Underlord.
Yeah.
Gyro and SF, your 2 more important cores, are going to be very susceptible to this Tiny. He's now going to wrap around behind mid. We are going to have some rotations from LGD. They still want to protect this mid tower against the Chen, but here comes Chessie. He's going to be able to get the toss back straight into the Centaur stun. What a great combination there. Now here comes Ame, though. He's going to get a good amount of damage on both supports. Slowed down by Limp. They also got the Static Storm, but there's no way Viper by himself can do enough damage here. So he's going to have to go for the TP out. FY sees him. Shuriken stops that one. And now LGD, who had given up on the kills earlier, may still be able to pick it up. Moo is waiting for a stun to come out. He can stop that homing missile stun almost immediately. Gets it up. Oh, no. A haste rune. Ame picks up that one. They're actually going to give up on trying to kill Moo. They could have gone for the chase down, but I guess with the Tiny up, they're a little bit scared. LGD, though, very successful defense.
I think the game plan here, like we talked about, complexities are very, it almost feels like they're too obvious of a team. Like, you know they're going to make that mid engagement. So if you sit the payload there, it doesn't matter if you lose the Bane. Because for them to take the tower against the pit, they have to overcommit for it.
Good toss back here. That could make not a damn difference.
Yeah, he's got a hood.
He's a big boy.
Like, Chalice is playing this game very well.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, but He's standing in front of the towers. He's always there before any point of damage goes on. He's the front liner for them. And so if you want to take him out, you've got to make this like weird wraparound play where you have to force things like that. But LGD are doing a good job because they're like, okay, during this time, we'll continue to farm and we'll come in late with our TPs. And as long as our TPs are up, we can get away with doing so. When their TPs aren't up, you notice that they farm closer in the jungle area. And when their TPs are up, they're willing to push out a little bit further.
Z-Freak caught by the first one is going to be slowed down here, but unwilling to dive that tower with Limp TPing in. Forced rotation, see what LGD can do with that. Immediately going to go up to top lane here. Toss up, ooh, FY gets a little bit too close.
They still want to take this mid though. They just don't know how to do it at this point.
Yeah.
And Kyle.
Oh,
he's going to get stunned.
Not
that
a TP
was
that's going to make.
I think Ame was like, do I go for this? And then he saw the TP attempt. He was like, yeah,
I definitely go for this one. Oh,
bottom.
Bean's grip. This is a dead Viper. This is where complexity start looking really weak as a team when they don't manage to make that successful push. They seem to run out of ideas of what to do here. See it here, Moo again gonna have his push stopped by Chalice's Underlord.
Yeah, it feels like they don't really know where to go. The mid push failed. They expected that to work. It's part of the reason why you have this chance that you can make these aggressive wraparound moves. But LGD are honestly just reading them very well right now.
Okay, so if you're in Complexity's position, like you're saying they don't know what to do next. Do you have an idea of like a play that Complexity should be making here?
Yeah, just go mid again and hope for the best. Then go Roshan.
Ah.
Because you've got a medallion on your Chen, I believe.
Yeah.
It's either you have to like go for some sneak Roshan play, or you have to go mid again. And it's Complexity, so they're going to go mid again. And I'm okay with that, like, because I think it's the play to make. It's not the favorite play, but you got to make it.
Sentry down, does have Static Storm. Ooh, accidentally gets the toss on the Disruptor instead. They may cost them a kill on FY. He's going to get more and more tracks down. Kyle's dropping low. Now drops the Static Storm in an attempt to get the kill on FY. Looks like the shot is going to be enough. Toss over the Gyrocopter. Toss him on to Moo, who can pop his ultimate and tank all of that Rocket Barrage. But still, so much damage to come down from Chalice. He managed to bring down the Viper as well. Chessie is low, trying to get that kill. Erase is going to be enough to finish him off. Complexity are down to one last man now, and that's going to be Moo, who will be able to walk away from that engagement. But LGD are the big winners there. I'm not sure if they got many track kills out of that, but they certainly won anyway.
They don't have to. The thing about track is, all right, so the downside of Bounty Hunter and the downside of Bounty Hunter has always been the fact that you can't team fight. That you are a vision-based hero. That is, you need your team to be able to 4-on-5 essentially. Don't tell me that this sick MLG 4-man shuriken toss on every, that doesn't count. Like, what really happens is you just track some people, you walk around invis, and you're just kind of a dick.
The real MLG is running into a smoke and dying.
That's
You're like, damn!
Yeah. Like, make a compilation play when you snipe a courier. But, so when you can win that 4v5 this convincingly, this early on, without really having to have a fifth hero,
yeah,
you get to play very greedy. Then the vision game becomes even more value, and things just snowball out of control. Like, LGD are doing very well with the 4-on-5 right now.
What is this? A smoke Underlord TP play into the Shrine. And Kyle's going to get caught as a result. They're going to be able to get a track kill, and I was going to say push for a tower, but they've actually already taken that tier 1.
Yeah. The upside for Complexity here is that there's nothing for them to take except their lives repeatedly.
Yeah.
And it's 15-8.
They're actually getting a
They're going to go mid again.
Now, yeah. I mean, they just saw a bunch of heroes top. They might as well. They almost take that tower. Looks like it could be denied here. They are going to be able to get a Gyrocopter. What a great ultimate here. X-Nova setting this all into place. Limp just stands and fights. He knows he's dead. Moo's going to try and protect Chessie. He has to wrap around, get that Aphotic Shield. He's not going to be able to get the distance in time. Finally throws out a miscoil, but Chessie is still dead. And Moo has lost his ultimate. 17-8. LGD are up by 7,000 gold. And Complexity are absolutely struggling to do anything in this game. This is not a Complexity smash like we normally see. That 5-man push just keeps on failing.
Feels like LGD, I mean, they read the book. There's so much information on how Complexity is going to play. I said they had to keep going mid, and yeah, that's the play. It doesn't feel good, though, because I'm looking at their lineup, and they genuinely have no other moves to make. They can't really split push.
They have no catch. They don't really have any split push.
Yeah,
It's just all team.
It's really hard to split push when you're playing against a bounty support because he just follows you around. You have no idea if he's on you at all times. You can't afford things like an early gem, so it's very scary to play. Like when you play against Invis heroes and you're behind, every Dota player feels this. You feel worried at all times. It feels as though the map is very small. And so you have to create these plays where you take down these tier 1 towers together because that feels like it opens up the map. But then as long as LGD are there every single time, you're just bashing your head against the wall.
So we saw the Underlord, 4th pickup here. complexity still picked up the Abaddon to complete their 5-man. Hindsight being 2020, would you say that Abaddon should have been replaced with a different hero? Some sort of scaling core that would give you some split pushing opportunities?
I don't know. I feel like...
Or was it execution based?
Oh, did complexity just pick up an early gem?
I did not see.
I don't know if the Alps can hear me. Oh.
Ooh, maybe. Actually gets a kill on Chessie there.
Oh, he has
Yules BKB. Yeah, that's a kill combo.
All right. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody pick up a gem on complexity.
Oh yeah, that's
Z-Freak's got it. See, that's what I meant. Like, if you play against Invis heroes at this pace, like that gem does not feel good to pick up.
That's a desperation gem.
But you absolutely need it. And that's just...
Got him.
That was a nuisance. You pick up that gem because you feel as though there's no other option.
Yeah.
In ideal situations, you pick up that gem because, you know, you can scale your lead.
Well, Chen's a little bit of a split pusher at least, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Z-Freak can make a little space for them.
Scary, though, against SF.
Yeah.
And Gyrocopter, because he just flaks all your...
And Underlord. They're actually all good at killing Chen creeps.
Oh. He just fidget spinnered him.
Got him. $18-8 is the score right now, with LGD leading by over 9,000 gold. Soon to be 10K if they can actually complete this Roshan attempt. Arcane Rune 4, maybe that'll make it easier. And complexity seem to have no idea. And FY knows that complexity's nowhere near because he's just sitting in front of the tier 2. Smoke is going to get popped here.
That's the play.
Where's the counter vision?
When you break the smoke, feel really good as a bounty hunter.
That's where the beat drops.
Yeah.
The real hype music kicks in.
When you break a smoke, that's so demoralizing. And you know it's a bounty.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Definitely feels like bounty hunter may not be given away. Yule Scepter. Got him. Who's going to get caught? Not much you can do. And
like
that's
that.
going to be a track kill.
the mutual, they both stopped attacking.
Bump fake, yeah. 12,000 net worth right now on our SF. With the other two cores, bit of a distance behind them, but both of them being LGD members, the Gyrocopter and the Underlord. And now it's LGD's turn to kind of just sort of 4 or 5 man around. I mean, when you're up by this much, there's no sense in taking any risks, right?
Yeah, that's where the real comeback mechanic in Dota comes in, is when you take these kinds of lead and you get solo picked off, it means so much gold. It's like 1,000 gold every time, right?
Speaking of solo pickoffs, FY slowed down. Blimps back as well. They are going to have Ame here. He's going to drop his ultimate. Kyle's going to be in trouble. Tries to lock him into the kinetic field, but he just can't run fast enough. Home missile is going to strike him down. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade-off there.
What was the gold change, though?
I would presume favorable as Fight Recap comes up for
there we
complexity.
Go.
But that also didn't count the Chen creeps that LGD killed.
But track gold, even with track gold,
so full out SNY for maybe max movement speed, and gonna have that level 3 ultimate as well. Jesse is gonna find, maybe brings him down to half HP, but he just goes for the Yule Scepter combination. Oh, that was perfect timing. Oh, activates a Shrine too, so he can bleed full HP.
I don't know who I watched recently do it, but they missed it like 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
But maybe is not going to miss those, and I'm so glad about it, because if you're an SF player, you know that timing. And he got it frame perfect. Chessie thought, he's like, well, maybe he'll just pop BKB. And
oh, shit. He's got to wake himself up with his E-Dragon, but he's a little bit slow. Freak already slowed down. He's going to try and send back Kyle here. Also pops the heal to make sure Kyle does survive long enough, but Z-Freak's going to be caught by the Fiend's Grip. Moo can do nothing but stand in the high ground and watch as his allies crumble. LGD running over compLexity, taking
they pick
towers.
up the gem?
Oh, they did, huh? I forgot Z-Freak was the one who had that gem.
Yeah, shout out to whoever our ops is. The guy's zoning.
SNY for Gyrocopter too. Just all early game items. Looks like Limp is going to die. Gives away the kill to maybe.
I sort of think that this game is pretty unplayable now. I think it's been sort of unplayable since
for like 10 minutes at least.
The second mid tower push was when I really, if I'm compLexity, like I'm already kind of internally moving on from this game.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they come back. I think they've got the inferior team fight. I don't know if they scale as well. The way that they win this game is, you know, they've got to get like a level 25 on their ABBA.
Level 25 of badness.
With
that's
like
exactly
Radiant
what I was thinking.
and Octarine Core Shivas. And like maybe for good measure, a Heaven's Halberd too. Okay. Shrek.
Oh, give me those Chen creeps with a double damage too. Bonk. Look at FY, so giving as a captain.
Yeah.
Oh, Underlord gets a little too far out there. Look at the lack of damage. They do nothing to him. Chessie's trying to split push this one. Trying to buy his team some time.
Oh,
Ends
that
up getting
ward.
caught. What a great ward placement. Normally a Tinker ward, but in this one situation, it'll catch Chessie.
Okay, they just call it.
Call it. They're done.
Don't even get raxed. They understand.
Whew.
Wow. That was brutal.
So I think we kind of agreed in the break room leading up into this. We said LGD, I think, is the only team who can really challenge Liquid or Newbie here. And at least in game one, that's a hot start. compLexity are certainly not the worst team here, and they just spanked them.
That was, I think it was very lineup flawed.
Yeah.
Like, you take these heroes, you have one purpose in the game. You have to take that mid tower. If you can't take the mid tower, the game just, like as a caster, I'm supposed to say like, you know, they can do this. No, the game is very, very, very difficult at that point, which is why they had to continue to do it. But they got it at like the 4th attempt, and when you take it on the 4th attempt, that means something is horribly wrong with your, like something has gone wrong strategy-wise or play-wise.
Underlord, great pickup for LGD.
Fantastic.
Drafting, not so hot for compLexity.
Yeah. It's hard to...
And you're saying, like, the execution, like, people are going to flame compLexity. Like, why do you just keep running at them? But that's what the lineup had to do.
You can't.
Right? Okay.
And that probably speaks... That's an issue. That your lineup can only serve that one purpose, is that you have to take this mid tower. LGD also played very well. It wasn't just a function of that. It was like, Chalice played that. Great pit lord.
All right, well, the recent pickup for LGD, Chalice, seeming in Blitz's mind, the MVP. We're going to head over to the panel now to break down game number 1. Hopefully, compLexity can give us a better draft in game 2.
Well, that was a whooping. That
was a whooping.
Ow.
That was a 25-minute game.
Yeah.
Was it?
I think it was,
It was.
a 10-minute
Maybe
game.
technically.
Technically, it
I
was a
think it was
25-minute
faster.
game.
Yeah.
All right, so at the start of the series, or at the start of the game, Ted, I asked you, like, what does compLexity need to do to make this game successful? And you mentioned, like, taking towers early, you know, not lose that mid lane too hard.
Cap and Blitz were talking about it. I just heard the tail end of the commentary there, and they said the people are going to say, why do they just keep running at them? But like they both said, Cap and Blitz both, you know, they said, well, that was their lineup. That was the whole point.
That was their plan.
Was that they were going to group up and they were going to get the Chen creeps. They were going to get everything was going to be okay, and Viper's hard to kill, and it's all going to be good. But like we were watching it, we were like, why are they 2-man pushing mid?
Yeah.
Why are they 3-man pushing? The whole point is they meant to group up, but they just never seem to be able to find either the coordination or the time. They were like, well, I've just TP'd top. Well, we're going to try and do it anyway. It's like there was a whole bunch of misplays, I think, miscommunication, mistiming, and then people kept getting picked off. I know Kyle got picked off a bunch of times, wandering around. It's like, well, there's guys that are just going to kill you. And the Gyro did well in lane. Got a solo kill, I think, at one point, and it was just at the point where he was just like, do you know what, come at me with whatever you've got.
Yeah. And
the bounty's always finding them. It was tough. He did get picked off as well, but it wasn't enough.
I felt LGD got the lanes exactly they wanted. They were like, okay, compLexity's going to try to put this Abaddon versus Underlord, and then they're going to have this tiny Chen +1 trying to pressure this Gyrocopter, so they just put the Gyro top with a support, moving between the 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So Gyro free farms. Underlord is like, whatever, I'm an Underlord. I don't really care if there's a tiny pressuring me. Sure, he died, but he got his hood. He did his job.
Still Underlord, man.
SF full free farm mid lane.
Yep.
I think looking back, compLexity's lineup had to make very, very few mistakes, and if they fell behind at all, they did have Disruptor, so we do say that a lot of times is when you're playing Disruptor from behind, the game is
we
really,
literally
really
said that in the drafting thing.
But
like,
they just made so many mistakes.
I guess, you got to play Disruptor from ahead. That's great and all, but I guess Chen is that same type of hero as well, because once Chen gets behind, he can't do that much either.
It's like all 3, right? Chen, Viper, and Disruptor. That's why we're like kind of saying, like, compLexity really needs to get the ball rolling, not split up. And, I mean, this Shadow Fiend actually looked like a big problem for them. They were like, okay, we're going to put Viper versus this mid. Maybe he's going to be able to last hit properly. No, he got crushed in the mid lane, even with the help, because LGD just put 3 heroes there.
Yeah.
They just shut down this Viper completely, and that was Cole's win condition for me, is having this Viper be bigger than the Shadow Fiend and group up and take those towers down.
Yeah, it just did not happen. I mean, I think the game for me summed up when Chessie thought he could take out the SF, and SF just turned around and just destroyed him.
Yeah.
You know, we were like, oh, and now he's going to die. He just dead. It's like, okay, that's it.
And it was not even close. Like
that was when we headed back in.
Yeah.
After lunch, we were like, all right, we should probably go back in, and we were right. So, yeah, pretty desperate stuff from Cole, I think.
There's a reason we've been seeing Bane banned like first 3 in a lot of these games, because he just solidifies this lane so hard. Throwing Enfeeble on this Viper, and Viper couldn't last hit. Even in mid-game, he provides so much with his Fiend's Grip for team fights and for catch.
Yeah.
So I think don't ban this Witch Doctor. Probably ban Bane or SF. I think it's way more of a problem.
The range on Enfeeble is insane. I mean, he's like, you can be the other end of the screen, and he's just enfeebling you. Yeah. And it's a super low cooldown, low cost, super annoying. Yeah, like you said, just literally wins the lane. Yeah. When are they going to fix mid? It used to be a 1v1 matchup of skill versus skill, and now it's like, let's just put 5 people here. And it's like, okay, it's boring.
It actually was 5 this game. It was Disruptor Viper versus Bounty, Bane, Shadow.
I want to see a good old classic 1v1 mid.
Look at the side lanes then.
Yeah.
Those are the new mids. The side lanes on the new mid.
And I guess we used to have like the range creep that gave extra experience. I think that's what started it all.
Yeah.
That's when everybody's like, okay, we gotta put extra emphasis on mid to make sure that our mid doesn't lose, because it can create such a big difference in the game. And then they changed it back to relatively normal, and everybody just kept thinking, wait a second, this focusing on mid thing is actually quite good. We should continue doing this. So. I hope for the same though, Ted, because I miss it too.
It used to be like the classic matchup,
Queen of Pain's Shadow Fiend matchup?
Like when they do, we got to do 1v1 me mid. It's like, no, hang on, nobody 1v1s mid anymore, bro. We got to do 3v3 me mid. That's the decider.
It's very rare you see it. It's like, oh, they both get bounty runes, and oh, it looks like they're gonna 1v1 mid. Nope, 2 more support show up. Bye.
Every time.
Womp womp.
So on the bottom lane, we had a Tiny and an Underlord, and I actually thought that Tiny got a lot of farm. At some point, he was on top of the net worth. It's like, there's hope. There's hope.
He had a really fast blink, right? We were saying, like, fast blink, ready to go.
Yeah.
But you mentioned it, I felt like they felt pretty disconnected. When we saw them diving that mid lane, they had the Disruptor wrapping behind with Chen and the Viper coming from the front, and just at that point, Chessie had TP top. And Chessie was like double the net worth of anybody else on his team.
If he'd been there, the whole fight's different.
Yeah,
but he just wasn't. It's like, okay, what are we going to do? Disruptor drops his ult. Viper spits on somebody, Chen creeps, maybe do something, but it's like we need someone to blink in and stun 2 people, and then we can get the ult around them and seal them in with the Disruptor, and then you can go to town. But instead it was just like, now we have to run away, and Carl's dead again. It's like, it's no good.
But it wasn't the only thing that made us kind of doubt the mood the compLexity is in. At some point they smoked up, and then, you got a Viper and a Tiny leading the charge. there's a bounty hunter in the game, you know, scouts it out, and it's like, okay, smoke's gone. You know, that was it.
Yeah. Quick,
no
somebody used
detection.
dust, and I think they didn't have any dust on them or something like that, but
we are
it's just one of those minor
like
things.
small things
Yeah,
can make a difference like that.
We are harping a lot on Cole.
Yeah.
I did definitely think they
Oh,
played
yeah.
disconnected,
No.
but I think LGD actually
They
played
did
this
play
up.
That's a good
well.
point.
Really,
we are
really
being
well.
very
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah,
It's because
Ame
I'm
was-
British, you know. That's the way we do.
No, but it's true because we were expecting more of Cole. We know that, you know, LGD is a strong team coming into this, but we were expecting these two teams to be kind of on the same level. It wasn't
Yeah,
even
we're not
close.
angry. We're just
It did not
disappointed.
seem like that,
That's
yeah.
we're a little disappointed. That's all
disappointed,
it is,
sure.
But hey, it's the best of 3.
It's the best of
they
3.
got time to come
LGD
back.
did look a lot stronger than
Yeah.
I thought that they would, though, to be honest. They looked very, very crisp with their movements, their decision-making as well. They just didn't let complexity play the game plan that they wanted to at all.
Yeah. Oh, which was exactly what they needed to do. And in that case, I mean, if you look at purely the draft, complexity did get out-drafted. LGD just had
Yes.
a strong draft. They had versatility. They could always fall back on that gyrocopter late game if they needed to. They had the mid game sorted with the Bane helping out in the Shadow Fiend. And obviously you've got Underlord, which makes it, should they have lost the lanes, he would have been able to buy time for everything else for LGD to get up and start doing things. But they didn't need any of their backups. They had plenty, but they didn't need it. FY was everywhere. X-Nova was solid on the Bane, and that's really all they needed.
Yeah.
We know that maybe is a solid Shadow Fiend. There, you know, nobody doubts that. Is his most played hero this patch successfully. So,
Look at the
You know, I
damage.
like the bounty because when you're ahead, it gets even worse for the enemy team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're behind, you can try and keep parity. Like a trade, a fight. You know, when you're behind and you trade 2 for 2 in a fight, you're actually ahead because of the bounty. I like that. I think it's a good pick.
And he always puts pressure because sentries are expensive
They
now,
are
man.
expensive,
Playing
man.
support, you have to
100
like
gold, come on.
100 gold
Yeah.
each time. Like,
That's a
oh.
lot of money.
it
Yeah,
is
it's
it
painful.
is expensive indeed, and you already have 2 supports that are going to be behind and are already fairly greedy, and they are relying on that extra tower gold to come in. But what was it? Like there was 1 tower that dropped in like 15 minutes, which sounds like it's, you know, it's fine, but not in this type of game, because in this type of game, complexity just needed to take more towers.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would have got the goal rolling, and therefore, you know, they could have done
They
more.
were
but-
looking to take early towers.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, they grouped up at minute
Yeah.
11. I wrote it down. It's like, okay, minute 11, complexity push incoming, and then nothing.
They just got huge. They got wiped massively.
Oh.
Do you know another thing you were saying about all those supports hanging out mid and stuff like that? Where does their money meant to come from? It's literally going to have to come from towers. I mean,
Kills-
all right,
kills
mid's
and
done great,
towers.
but
Kills
you
and
better
towers.
pick supports that don't
Yeah.
need anything.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they're going to be broke.
They just need levels. That's
Yeah.
all you have to line. And Bane is great for that because, first of all, he can't really farm that fast anyway.
Exactly.
So he's good for any core that doesn't have to worry about his support taking his gold. And, you know, he is going to get his level 6, and once he's level 6, you know, the rest of the levels is important as well, but he's already very useful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
They
his
did.
biggest
They
thing.
did get some kills with the grip as well. Really good at holding the
Yeah.
tiny still and stuff like that. I thought, yeah, it was. But the thing is, you know, at the moment the game finished, they weren't like just looking depressed. They were like, all right, what did we do wrong? How can we
Yeah.
fix this? You could see
Yeah.
them talking straight away. Carl's immediately saying, we got to do this. We got to do
Yeah.
this. They need to execute in the next game, 100%.
That's what the draft was. This draft
Exactly.
was they needed to have a perfect execution,
Yeah.
and they were hemorrhaging kills all over the place. So
And it's
I-
easy to pinpoint what went wrong. I think that's a really good point,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
If I can spot what went wrong, then they definitely it's fixable.
What,
Come on.
Ted, you're amazing.
Okay, but if we look at what went wrong and what they can fix for next time, surely a versatile draft comes to mind, like having more options for them. I know yesterday, Ted, I said I wouldn't use the term win condition,
Okay.
but they wanted to have more win conditions.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I guess
multiple.
if you've got an approach, like a strat, and your strat is we're going to do this,
Yeah.
and then we'll get towers, and then we'll win the game because of that,
Yeah.
and you don't manage that, you're left with no option.
You need a contingency.
You need contingencies,
Yeah,
and that's why, you know, when I saw the Tiny pick, I was like, yeah, I like Tiny, he's good. But if you'd had like a late game carrier, I know you were saying that Chessie Sven isn't like, you don't want to see him pick the
Yeah.
Sven, but he can go a little later. Like
Yeah.
you want to get Sven. Sven is the guy who can get in there, the big old bippity bop, and all of a sudden you're picking up some pretty good combo kills. But I don't know, man. Tiny kind of falls off a little bit for me. Early game, he had that great early game blink, but if he doesn't make something out of that, what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, then he jumps on the Shadow Fiend, and by the time
And
he has
Shadow
blink,
Fiend's
Shadow Fiend
like,
has a BKB.
oh, hey.
Hey.
Exactly.
I'll take the initial burst damage, and then you're dead.
Yeah. Once he can't burst people down, especially the carry, it's like, well, what is he doing
Yeah.
then? Like, that's why I think when you said he was an offlaner, I like that. Get a fast blink on him, that's really cool. But they didn't have a fallback carry for me. That's really going to carry it. If they could have held on for 20 minutes more now, so-and-so's a problem, you know, but it didn't happen.
Needed to be too perfect.
Yeah. But fixable problems, and I don't think
Yeah.
everything is